What's up, Go enthusiasts, and welcome back to the Games of Blood and Tears. We have Game 8 here. This one is my favorite. My favorite game of Blood and Tears. But we haven't even spoken very much about why these games are called the Games of Blood and Tears. The reason why is that the story tells itself on the goban, and then it tells itself in history. And I think that we needed a little bit more context before diving into it. I'm still gonna hold off a little bit longer, so you'll have to wait till the games 9 and games 10 for the whole story. But of course, the reason why these games are called the Games of Blood and Tears is partially due to the in-person drama that they had Huang Longshe living in Zhu Jingyu's house. Let's dive right in and see my favorite game today. Huang Longshe plays white. Zhu Jingyu plays black. And this opening is not really that standard from what they were doing, to be honest, but it's not that out of the ordinary either. White is clearly creating weak groups again, just like as he has been doing the previous times. You can see he set up a 3 space on the bottom, just asking black to invade. He's got a bunch of groups scattered around, and he's going to take care of them well. So he plays this 2 space. It's the proper move in that corner position. If you ever have that, then you should play that too, by the way. But it's pretty rare these days that we get that. Partially people will kick, and so to deny this, and then also people will like to lean rather than pincer. But anyway, it doesn't really matter how we got here, because now we have an interesting position already, where Zhu Jingyu has gone for the corner, and he's trying to put pressure on this white group. This is unstandard for sure. The much more logical thing to do for black, the thing that you would expect all the black players to be playing here, is a 2 space on the top side. Take care of your other group, pincer that, and you don't have to try to attack this or defend your group on the left side right away. It's not as weak as the top side stones. But Zhu Jingyu plays from the left side instead, and he has a reason. He has a good reason. When he does that, this sequence is almost forced, where Huang Shi basically has to extend here to deny black getting that beautiful tiger's mouth, and because of that, he leaves behind a weakness on the top side which Zhu Jingyu can use. He can peep here, Huang Lingshe must connect, and Zhu Jingyu can link together on the top side. Zhu Jingyu had an idea here. He was cognizant of what he was doing. He said, I don't want to take care of my stone to the top side and push on that one white stone on the upper right. I want to press on the black. I want to press on the white group in the upper left, and I want to take care of my own group in a way that takes away white's territory, what takes away white space. It's a meaningful way to save yourself, but it isn't the most efficient. Huang Shi can play this exchange, and you can sort of see already black has more second line stones than white by a lot, and second line stones are not very efficient. Additionally, white's shape is sort of splitting black's here, so you can feel that the white stones are efficiently placed in this upper left corner. This is definitely a good position. The difficult part is how to continue. And Huang Yongshi plays a 2 space pincer on the left side. So he says, you know, I'm not that weak here, I'm not that strong either, but you aren't that strong on the left side. I want to see how you take care of your 3 stones in the upper left yourself. And it's a really sensible challenge. And it forces basically that Zhu Jingyu should run with those stones, and Huang Longshe can then take this very nice table shape. And the game will continue with Zhu Jingyu taking care of these 4 stones. I just wanted to share something that my AI showed me here that I thought was really cool and extraordinary, actually. It's pretty common nowadays, if you get this kind of position and you want to pincer a group like this, we aren't that fond of playing the third line pincers that they were fond of playing in the ancient times. Huang Shi likes to play this move because it means that black will not get any territory on the left side, and it has pretty good fighting power against those 3 stones on the left. Like, black is going to have a hard time taking a base, let alone territory. But these days, we tend to prefer playing pincers on the 4th line, something like this. Meaning, if we force black down, this kind of variation, if you can get all of this, this is just amazing for white. Black would never allow this. And so when you play this kind of move, black pretty much has to fight back against you. They can't play passively, even if their shape is less well organized than the variation that I showed. Even something like this is already a little too painful for black to accept. So when we play this one, black pushing up is what you should read. And then I thought that you couldn't do this because when you hane and black hanes, you can't cut. Not reasonably anyway. Black can take care of this weakness, and you have to take care of your weakness back here, and then black can take care very naturally on the left side. This is not a good variation for white. And so if you would just, instead of cutting, play here directly, it's a better variation locally, but black making this connect, although it's an empty triangle, it splits white off, and this pincer stone lost its meaning. You can see this is the reason why Huang Longshe played further away. It's much more natural, much more human to play Huang Longshe's way than to play the AI recommended move here. So then the question that I had was, well, what does AI actually want to do after black pushes like this? How does AI resolve this? Because indeed, if we go through that variation that I just showed, then black would be doing well, especially compared to Huang Longshe's variation. You can feel free to pause the video and try to find the move that's correct here. White should play diagonal. This was stunning to me, to be honest, because it's so rare that you should let your opponent push through when you have several cuts nearby and you just let your opponent split your shape like this. This is a knight's move split shape. It's very important if you don't know about this shape, actually. It really, really, really matters a lot. If white has two directions that they're moving like parallel to each other, next to each other, and black can just split through like this, in general, the black stones are doubly efficient as the white stones on either side. So it's very, very rare that we allow this, but you can note in this position, it's different than normal. In this position, if white plays like that, white gets to then block with that table shape that Huang Longshe ended up making in the game anyway. And it's the correct shape, it's a beautiful shape. And this table shape, due to all the support of the surrounding white stones, it just perfectly blocks off the center here and forces black to do that kind of low saving thing that we were discussing earlier is never good. So I thought that was really nice. The two space, or I guess you call it the one space high pincer in this case, is working not because you can block, but because you can't block and you can use that table shape. Anyway, that's probably too long of a diversion for this early of the game, but I thought it was really interesting. And I've just shown you the next couple moves where black tries to run out his 4 stones. He did it really, really aggressively with this 2 space attach, and Huang Longshe said, hey, what are you doing? You come in. Actually, a lot of lesser players will just be like, oh, you attach to me, I'm defending myself, and I attack you out. Always hane outside. In general, if you hane outside, it's never going to be a big mistake. But in this case, Huang Longshe is correct to hane on the inside and ask black what he's doing, actually to try to run out. And black, he had this all planned out, and it was actually a really good plan. I think in this game, we start to see Zhu Jingyu get a little bit of inspiration from all of the amazing saving techniques Huang Longshe has been showing him over the last, few games of the Blood and Tears. And as a result here, you can see Huang Longshe had to give up that 1 stone in the center. He played a sequence where he Atari'd a couple times. The first Atari was the preparation that white needed to be able to play the actual second Atari, which is the one that makes this variation palatable. This one gives black this empty triangle and really awkward shape on the left side. So then in this way, black gets an eye in the end, but white has a pretty nice position on the left just naturally, and it's really not so bad of a sacrifice for white to get this kind of great shape. And he even can play this peep, and he pushes to be able to get this push as a forcing move as well. That was asking, like, which group is he going to defend? Black didn't necessarily have to block there. He could have tried to attack on the left, but because he didn't, then white got a small base on the left already, and chooses to play on the top side. This is pretty necessary. That group on the top is also weak, and the white group on the top side. Like, both white and black are weak on the top side. The white group on the left side, you'd love to play there, but you don't really have the time. So actually what happened here, you can see black was very successful when he was saving his group by running out with that attach and crosscut. And that's not to say that Huang Longshe made any mistakes. It's actually just that Zhu Jingyu's method here was really impressive. It was, I think, perfectly executed, and Huang Longshe is left to handle all of his remaining weaknesses afterwards. So it's great to see, honestly. Zhu Jingyu is actually improving in real time throughout these games. He's taking care of his weak groups better. And Huang Longshe is just pressing down on this black group on the top side. And he plays this push, which Zhu Jingyu aggressively goes for a Hane against. This one means, hey, I'm not going to let you easily connect to that one stone or use that one stone very directly. I'm going to try to press. I'm going to go up, and I'm going to show that these two white groups are separated. Also, your group on the left, Zhu Jingyu is doing a great job so far this game. Huang Shi jumps out, so he has to confuse the game a bit, and he could not play that cut. This cut is very tempting looking because white has a method out if black tries to Atari down. So this is threatening those two stones, and then by turning here, white can connect to that one stone on the side. So this is a disaster for black. Black dies all the way on the top side. So if white would have cut here, Zhu Jingyu was not planning on Ataring down. He planned to Atari once and push here. And in fact, this shape is so annoying that Huang Shi couldn't bear to make it. White owes another move, lest black start pressing through and spitting this white shape. But however he spends it, it's so awkward. Even if he spends it here, black can Atari through and push through in the center. And if you just connect here, all of these stones feel somewhat wasted. It's like an iron pillar in the middle of nowhere. So Zhu Jingyu had a really good method lined up when he played this Hane. He knew he was going to save the group with the Atari and push, and that actually, by efficiency, that made white very uncomfortable. So white prepares. He's like, all right, I'll just get ready for the cut. Even still, honestly, after this move, he doesn't necessarily have the power to take it because black will do the same technique. But black figured if I just strengthen myself in good shape on the top side, then I'll be able to attack my choice, either the white group in the upper left or the white group in the upper right later. It was beautiful. It was correct again, and Huang Shi, even more beautiful, plays this peep. I honestly did not understand this peep when I was just viewing the game by myself, and I had to run through with AI a little bit to figure out what was going on here, why it's correct timing to peep there and then jump. This is all perfect. AI recommended. The reason why it's better to do that than to just jump originally. If you jump right away and then later you peep, then you're not going to have the timing to be able to ask to Hane. So the point here is if black would have responded like this, white would Hane here, and then black has this really awkward moment where he wants the tiger, but white can cut like so. And so, in fact, I thought originally that this Hane and press should just generally be what Huang Shi is doing, but this leaves too many cutting points behind. It's not a very thick shape. Huang Shi is correct to try to take care of himself with the jump and never missing a beat. He does not choose to just jump without taking care of those weaknesses on the top side. This is exactly the right timing where this peep is going to be responded with the connect and give white a chance to connect back later and build a base for the group in the upper right, and then he can jump here. Just 100% perfect by Huang Shi. Zhu Jingyu plays the simple extend up anyway. It's not a bad move by any stretch of the imagination. These two white groups need to be separated for Zhu Jingyu to launch his attacks later, but Huang Shi cannot just be spending his time following his opponent throughout the whole game in a 3-stone handicap. There's no chance. So he has to go and make some of his own complications, and he takes care of that one stone in the most aggressive way possible by surrounding the black upper right corner. I'm sure he hoped that Zhu Jingyu would make some mistakes taking care of that upper right corner, because that's the main way, honestly, that Huang Shi has been gaining in these games. He tries to take care of his weak group. He shows his opponent is weak nearby too, and then when both players are weak, somehow Huang Shi gets enormous value. We're gonna see that happen, but not right away. Zhu Jingyu starts with this move. And honestly, this is a great move. This reminds me of some of the moves that I see the modern top professionals playing that are just even like stunning and difficult to beat for other modern top professionals. This is a really high quality move. It means black can either link up to the stone by cutting through on the right or cutting through on the left. And either way, black is setting up a strong shape to eye up the cutting points that white has on the top side. It would be very easy here to do a much less powerful lean, a much less powerful kind of attack to just push up normally, anything like that. This move is very sharp, and Huang Shi is basically forced to bamboo on the outside and allow black to push through here, but Black greedily asks to uh, to try to cut first, and is a huge mistake from Zhu Jingyu, to be honest. White can connect here. Black cannot cut because white would just hane. And so that forces black to then save these stones, force white to connect. But the original meaning of that black move, the reason why it was so amazing, why black had stolen away basically all of white's potential ice space with that attack, it's totally lost because he has a new weak group that he has to take care of. Those three stones are now his burden to take care of, along with the group on the left. So that didn't actually end up working out that well. And yeah, Zhu Jingyu not to be too disturbed. He's not going to continue playing in that area and chase his losses. Instead, just plays a one space jump on the left side. This move was really, really big for a long time, and it's great to see, honestly, that Zhu Jingyu is willing to go chase another thing that Huang Longshi has a difficult time handling. He plays this attached. I think the right method to run out, to start with that attach. And Huang Longshi, or sorry, Zhu Jingyu, he doesn't just answer with the tiger's mouth, a sort of standard answer that would be very, very solid here, but would allow Wei to play very quickly into the center. He plays instead from the center himself, so to make sure that he cannot be surrounded, and he gives Hong Shi this pretty satisfying tiger's mouth shape. Ultimately, you can't really say that this shape is very efficient for black, but Huang Shi, he felt some pressure on the left side, and he sort of made it efficient for black with this extend. If he would have just not done that and played elsewhere, then this breaking the bamboo shape later has a lot of potential, I think, to start counterattacking black in all sorts of interesting ways. And I'm not really that scared, personally, as white, that these stones are going to immediately die. So I would have preferred to see some random move in the center right now. This exchange, it loses all of the cutting potential that you have against that upper left black group. The gain for white is that he has more directions to run in the center. And he's actually going to use that pretty effectively right away with this jump. So this is just, a random move in the center, but it has two meaningful directions of attack. Either white could have played here, and so this push would sort of collapse black's shape a bit and allow white to really save this group very, very nicely. Or when black answers over here, white can surround that group in the upper side. This jump is only working because Wei has this jump already set up as defense, as his pulled back fist to allow him to punch on the top side. It would be very easy for Zhu Jingyu to take care of this group lazily, to just, turn, not do anything special, and just allow this weight, somewhat thin shape to exist for now, hold on, bide his time. Zhu Jingyu doesn't do that. He goes through pushes and cuts. And the reason why is that he's being aggressive now. He's being counter-aggressive. He's learning from Huang Longshi how to take his weaknesses as opportunities to fight. And this cut it's pretty good. It means that Wei has to play from the outside here. Wei could not reasonably try to save his stone and launch a severe attack on the black top side because his own group in the upper left is weak. So it was really mandatory that he plays the Atari and the extend and make sure that he has routes to run in the center. And in doing so, he's given black enough strength to try to capture that cutting stone back. If white would try to save that cutting stone right away, then there would be other cuts on the side, and in general, white's shape seems to kind of collapse. And so that's why white just immediately plays the 3-3. This move is like, it's a very aggressive move. It's like, hey, by the way, mine. give me that. And that's not deserved for white from this few stones. I mean, white only has 3 more stones than black in this area, and that's an area of about 40 points or so that I've highlighted. Of course, white wouldn't get all of that, but black has to show why white wouldn't get all that. And the reason why is usually because of the weaknesses. That's exactly where Huang Longshi wants to fight. He wants Zhu Jingyu to be like, hey, you can't get all that. You have this weakness, that weakness, and in so doing, Huang Longshi hopes Zhu Jingyu will make some execution mistakes, and Huang Longshi can get his mojo back, can bring a lead. It would be easy for Zhu Jingyu to immediately target that area. He doesn't. He turns. I really like this move. I think this move is showing Zhu Jingyu had a really global eye this game. He was paying a lot of attention to that group on the upper left still, the group on the left side still. He was thinking, hey, I have a real global initiative here. I can save this group on the top side really easily. I can capture either this one stone or that one stone on the top side. Either way, black would be easily alive. No need to be defensive here. Let's just turn. And white needed to run like this. And then black played this jump. So in keeping with his global eye here, he's like, well, I don't have to take care of that. That is safe. That, I could chase the group on the left. I could chase the group in the center. But I have to take care of my four stones as well. And what's important near the four stones, it's got to be the side which is next to all these white weaknesses, all these white cutting points that really white should be taking care of. So he jumped to the side and tried to leave all these weaknesses for white. I thought it was really, really great. And in fact, he got a mistake from Huang Hongxue on the next move. This move was over-aggressive. The problem was the way to use the over-aggressiveness of this stone was really, really difficult. And I honestly didn't notice at all until I checked with AI that Wei actually was getting in big trouble here. But it's true. So in the game, black just answered. It was very normal and natural, and then white could just answer. And actually, in so doing, white managed to solidify his corner quite a bit. And so that was kind of the last moment for black to use this corner Aji very, very harshly. If he would have blocked here, the standard way for white to try to fight this is to save the 3/3 stone, and then to say, hey, you can't save those 2 stones. I'm going to try to kill those. But that would not work. Black could play... There's many ways to save this, but I guess the simplest way is to just push and peep, so white can't connect to the corner, so this move should be forcing, and then white can hane and capture this stone. And if you see this variation, then you can easily see that white is all dead, and this is game over. And so you have to start thinking about trades. You have to start thinking, well, this one happens, and I'm going to only take care of this, and then I'm going to let black save the corner. Sort of things like this, but in all cases, black could take initiative from that kind of a fight where he's really getting to use the weaknesses in the corner. Unfortunately for Zhu Jingyu, he didn't have that initiative when white played here because white's next push on the top side, it feels like it's forcing, and it would also deny black from getting 2 eyes. This move is setting up in total on the top side a 1.5 eye shape. So if white now plays here, then white could in gote take black down to less than 2 eyes, but if black plays, of course it will be 2 eyes. And so the number of eyes that black had would noticeably have changed if white could get that 1 extra push in Sente. So he thought it was necessary to block. It turns out it let white solidify a little bit. Huang Hongxue could catch up. But that's not enough to make black sad. He's still alive here because he can capture the stone or live on the top side. And so he says, hey, that area is done. I've taken care of my 4 stones. I've got, some room on the side to go. The stones on the left are the next thing to go for. They're the next weakest area. They're the next story to tell. Let me take away his eye space and play this attachment, meaning I'm going to both attack a group in the upper left, like the left side here, and a group on the bottom side. I'm going to get a good shape against one of them, and it's a really, really strong, powerful attack. But Huang Hongxue takes a timeout to be like, hey, you said you were going to live on the top side. I'm interested in letting you just live there. So he exchanges this. It's a little interesting to see Huang Hongxue play the Tiger's Mouth here. Modern professionals hate doing this. They despise it. They would never do this. Almost everyone wants to play here. And the reason why is actually really simple. It's just a couple more points when you play here. So in the game, when you play this one, it lets black play this Atari, and then black lives. And if you would have just connected, then black would not have that first line move. And so that usually amounts to about 2 points or so that you lose. 2 points may sound like nothing, but most endgames in modern play, they're coming down to the margins where if someone has 2 points, it like dramatically changes how people approach the game and how people feel about the game. And so professionals have gotten attached to their 2 points even this early in the opening. They won't easily let it go. The bonus, the reason why Huang Hongxue played this move that loses endgame, that loses in points, is that it has a much better connection to the corner. I wasn't sure whether Huang Shou is right or whether the modern instinct is right to connect. It turns out the AI supports the modern instinct, but it thinks that Huang Shu's way isn't that bad. We're gonna see it work out really well for Huang Shu in the game. So I think at least in the handicap game, it's very sensible to choose how he chose. Um, but anyway, that's not the main point of the story. The main point of the story is this left side. That left side group and the bottom side, they're getting attacked together. This is a really, really difficult position for Huang Hongshi. He has to take care, and Zhu Jingyu is attacking honestly in great flair. I mean, this is a really pretty looking attack to play this Hane, two Hanes on the bottom side. It's like, hey, I'm really gonna break through your shape on the bottom side. And by the way, if I get like one move on the left side and surround your group, that is locally dead. That's you're just gonna completely, fall over and die over there. And the way that Huang Hongshi handled this was just brilliant, honestly. He played Atari and pushed through. And objectively, this was not very good. But the reason why it it was very difficult for Zhu Jingyu to accept the reason why this is not supposed to be correct. So Wait pushed through here and he broke Black apart from the side and the corner. Like Black now has to take care of these things separately unless he can cut somehow. Usually when you cut like this, White has so many weak groups, it can't work out for White. This just like never works. But in this case it did. It did work out for White. So White played Atari here and then extend, which is a great move. The perfect move here to link up to that group on the left and involve it in this fight that's happening on the bottom side in a healthy way. So not a way where Black can easily split or somehow make some nice double attack or anything like that. Black just doesn't have the time to do that because he's getting shattered on the bottom side if he does. So he has to go and cut on the bottom side. That gives White the chance to take care of the corner here. And you can see these three stones on the side and this one stone in the corner are actually like they're all getting in trouble. So what Zhu Jingyu chooses to do is he chooses to run out this one stone from the ladder because he notices, hey, if I do this all the way like so, I can actually save that stone. But this was a really big mistake because now those three stones have naturally died. Wei didn't even have to try very hard to capture them. He just split them off from the corner. And to make things worse, this corner may look like that's all Black territory, but that's not true. It's not Black territory yet. Anytime later, White could play here, and then you have to be careful. You can't actually play here. This one looks like you're gonna make a ko, like this, but actually Black is not dead in ko at all here. If you capture, then Black can Atari like this and Atari like that, which would be silly. And if you don't capture, if you descend, then Black can Atari like this and Atari like that, which would also be funny. So instead, locally here, correct way for White to play is like this, but it doesn't really do anything fancy right now. You can see if it goes like this, then Black would be winning that Liberty race. So in fact, what's going to happen is some crazy thing in the corner like that. This is the reason Huang Hongshi doesn't trigger anything right away. He knows that there is potential to do something there, but nothing there looks absolutely game-breaking. So he's going to bide his time. He's going to wait for his chance to do something there later in the end game when Ko's and the like are very important and big. And for now, he takes care of his group in the center. That keeps some pressure on the Black group in the center now. Because as White saved his group on the left, naturally killing these three stones, he also became super strong on the left. And that totally recontextualizes this fight in the center. For the whole game, up till now, it's been Black bullying here and then there and then here and then there, sort of ping-pong back and forth, taking control everywhere. Just this one mistake, and by the way, let's go back and look at how Black could have done that better. In fact, instead of cutting here, it would have been better for Black to immediately give up the corner, like this. But this is, this is really hard to ask someone to do, to be like, hey, just totally abandon that corner that you've been paying so much attention to. The thing is that group on the left is so weak that it's gonna pay off for Black. And Black still has chances to use these cuts. I don't know exactly the right way to handle it. Maybe something like this could happen next. And Black would be having, again, control of the rest of the game, even if White could have some territory in the bottom left. When he did it like this and here, it was also a mistake for black to run, like so. He should have taken care of his group on the left side. If you just save those 3 stones, maybe you can run through in the center, that sort of stuff. You have a lot more counterattacking potential than by saving that 1 stone. That was actually a much, much smaller area than the side. As you can see from Waite's pressure in the center. Well, black doesn't care about that pressure for now. He just deprives this 1 white stone on the bottom side of its base, and so white obviously ignores that and pincers these 5 stones on the right. Huang Shi wouldn't want to make any kind of simple attack where if he chases this group in the upper left, no matter what, it can live. There's all sorts of things that it can do to save itself. There's no need to chase it right away, but using the fact that it's not alive as a resource is easily done when there's other weak things on the board. So he's interested in staying weak on the bottom side. He's interested in making black weak on the right side and just generally making a complicated game so that he can use his newfound increased control from that big success on the left. And so black has to take care of his stones again. And he plays this descend, so he tries to do that same sort of thing that I showed you in the side when he was supposed to do this kind of move to take care of that topside group. This is the same kind of technique. He was hoping that Huang Shi would just respond in the corner and then he could like connect under and make some base or all sorts of things. But Huang Shi responded really, really aggressively on the outside. And he said, hey, you can't actually do anything here, Xu Jingyu. This turn looked like it was going to make something happen. It seems actually pretty difficult for white to hold everything together here because he also has to take care of these stones, make sure they don't lose any liberty rates with the cut, as well as taking care of the corner and take care of the side. It seems like white has a lot of jobs to do. He seems busy. But this descend fixed everything. It was the perfect move from Huang Shi, and he had it all read out. This is why he played that iron pillar on the right side. He knew if black blocks like this, he can link up like so. And this takes some base on the top side, so he doesn't have to worry about any liberty race with this top side group. It links up. It's a beautiful move for that. And the only thing he has to worry about is whether those 2 stones on the right side are going to be winning the capture race and being able to capture these black 4 cornerstones. So black plays this diagonal kick. Of course, white needs to answer, needs to make sure to stop black from saving those 4 stones and then using that cutting point and all that. And the way that white did this looks like we're getting into a somewhat risky capture race between that white and that black if black continues to cut. But black didn't continue to cut, he just played away. And white even peeped from this side and then just played completely away on the right side like this. When black cuts like this, we can see Huang Shi's perfect reading. He knew if he hanes and connects, well, we see they just play away. White is going to win this liberty race by exactly 1. It's very, very good. And he knew that. He had calculated all that out from when he plays this hane and connect here. And this hane connect was a really, really actually the best way to save. This created a weakness for black on the right side, which was not that easy to know how to handle. And he really messed up when he connected here. If black would have been much, much more lackadaisical about connecting that, if he would have just taken care with the jump here, or even quickly coming to the center and using some center weaknesses with this hane, something like that, it would be no big deal for white to cut. However, he does it like this. Of course, this means that the white group on the right side is strong. It has some territory. But the main thing that black had to handle here was just making sure that he gets something from his weak stones there. He just had to make sure that his saving method was good. A sequence like this, I mean, especially if we're surrounding that group on the top side, but a sequence where black can get something out of it and point it towards making some area on the bottom side here be stronger is much, much, much more important than white getting some small territory on the right. So a big mistake from black to connect here. Well done by Huang Shi to set it up to make that peep, which he knew that Xu Jingyu was the type of player to never want to let go of his opponent's weak group. So Xu Jingyu is a little too ambitious to connect here and hope that Huang Shi's right side group will be weak here. Obviously, after this 2-space jump, it's not weak. And after this sequence, we can see Huang Hongshi is really the one chasing. He's the one who's attacking this black group again, and is going to have to pay up for that overly ambitious connect on the right side. So Zhu Jingyu starts by playing a few more forcing moves. You can see here this is the end of the reading, if you didn't read it earlier in the video. At this point, black cannot approach these white stones from either side, so even though it's 2-2, white is winning the liberty race. I'll just play here and then capture. Black does have the descend and maybe the diagonal is Sente moves for later. And for now, he plays this bump. This is actually pretty interesting moment here. I didn't expect what Huang Shi did in the game. He played this peep. And that's not the normal shape here, actually. Even though it forces black to make an empty triangle, so you may be like, well, why not, Telegraph? I think that's good shape for white. You're right, this is good shape for white. But it isn't normal, and white continues to play. Because normally you can play this move and also force your opponent to make a bad shape. So even if black would have to play here, this is significantly better for white than the other variation, because in this method, white got out a lot better. And it isn't really important how many eyes black is making in this area as he's saving. It's much more important who's going to have the control in the center, who's going to be able to surround this group or that group or this group and all that. So this one let that go. The reason why, actually, is because Huang Shi, I think he anticipated Zhu Jingyu's good move of the diagonal here. I mean, I didn't see this coming at all, but I can imagine that Huang Shi did. He probably was thinking that Zhu Jingyu would find this move, because it's not that hard to find. This just means if white wedges, then there's a connect and die, like so. But that diagonal move, it really actually means a lot, because it's forcing on a cut in the center. So if white connects here, that still doesn't actually disconnect the black shape in the center, and black would get to be the first one running out over here. Of course, there's different ways to fight here, but I thought it was really interesting that Huang Yunshi does this much more forceful way to connect. Now, of course, if black plays the same diagonal, white could just immediately cut. So he kind of anticipated his opponent's good move and worsened his shape a little bit in anticipation of it, not allowing Zhu Jingyu to make it a good move to gain, but just playing properly and respectfully of Zhu Jingyu here. And then he goes to take care of his right side group by leaning on the corner. Black played a forcing move there, and then he starts pushing up and playing this Hane, and he's playing for the center, playing for the bottom side, playing for the control on all these weak groups. To be honest, here, as this is going, this Hane was being screamed by my AI the whole time when I checked it with my AI. It's very sensible what they've been doing if we ignore this Hane, but this Hane, it surrounds the top side. If this is going to work, then you got to play it, because we're going to kill the whole top side white group here. Now, it didn't work in the game. In the game, black backed off and let white capture a stone, and white is nowhere near dead. Black is much more the one in trouble in all these sides. Black lost almost all of his lead with this move. If he would have played here, if white would Atari and black connects, this would be horrific for black. No one would ever play like this. Everyone who sees this Atari will cut and connect like this. White should connect, and it becomes a liberty race between this black and the upper left white. This may have been a bit difficult to calculate, but considering that black can still run and white cannot still run, black is going to win this liberty race. The real difficult variation is what happens when white cuts like this. So here, if white can block, now white is going to win the liberty race between the upper left and the center. So black needs to try to run one time and then needs to save these two stones as well to make sure white is properly surrounded. As long as white has enough support here to be able to surround this black group, this is going to be difficult for black. But there were a lot of moments where white didn't actually have enough support in this variation. So moments, for example, like here, at this timing, if we would have had, this variation again, and here, white is sort of going to run into their own shapes, run into their own weaknesses on the right side here if they try to save these 3 stones. It's not actually possible for white to hold everything together here. And so this was a chance that black had all the time. And even he had it, it was possible, according to my AI, at this last moment where he backed off. But it is a very, very difficult chance. And Zhu Jingyu has been getting beaten in these capture races and all that kind of difficult kind of play throughout the whole series. So it's understandable that he tried to play a bit more patiently here. He backed off. I'm sure when he originally played this Hane, he thought he was going to be saving, and then there was some reading thing. He saw something, and he thought, oh man, that means I'm going to lose the Liberty race. I can't do it, and just backed off here, changed his mind. The unfortunate bit for Zhu Jingyu is he half committed. He already played that Hane, so he was forced to give way to a full Panuki, full captured stone in the center with the weak group that he was supposed to be killing, and that's not very comfortable. The game is almost even here. The good news for black is he has a very, very easy next plan. He has to just take the whole bottom side. If black simply whoop draws that on the board, takes it all, that's game. Black can win. And so really we come to a end game or a late middle game kind of fight, which is very difficult for white. How do you save this? How do you break into the black bottom side? Very easy for black, but objectively pretty close to even. So I thought it was really interesting to see how they play. Huang She starts with an immediate massive blunder of Atarian here. This is completely unnecessary, and frankly, it's baffling. I have no idea why Huang She didn't play this Atari. Then when black just answers, however, then you don't need to spend a move on the right side to capture that 1 stone. I actually have no idea why he did that. He could just jump here, and there's nothing here. This is those 2 stones are captured. So he lost by playing here Sente. He lost his full move in the center and let black play the full move in that bottom side, which is the next important area on the board. Black played this jump, controlling the correct direction, and when white jumped here, he played this Hane, and he said, haha, that's all mine on the bottom. He didn't actually completely block here, because he was worried that white would play here and kill him on the left. So this move means black is threatening to play this Hane and capture these 3 stones. He wants white to just answer there, continuing to keep pressure on the left, and then he'll save in the upper left corner, and it'd be slightly territorially better. But it's a small mistake to do so, because in fact, white is not going to commit to killing this group on the left, and black has to continue to try to say, hey, if you commit, then I have this move all the time. But white doesn't care about killing that group on the left right now. He needs to make sure that the whole bottom isn't black. So he cuts. And here, once again, we see Zhu Jingyu improving. He's doing a much better job. He plays Atari here. Not that obvious of a move, but the meaning is, hey, I had a weak group over there. I have to take care of that weak group as I attack you on the bottom side. This Atari does the job. This Atari saves that weak group enough, just enough, and I don't need to save it any more than that to be able to diagonal here and try to kill you on the bottom side. Black is being super strong here. Super strong. He's saying, hey, all mine, that's mine, that's mine. You thought this area was weak? Ha ha ha. That area is not weak. This is all my territory. And frankly, it's extremely difficult to prove him wrong. White plays this Atari, forcing move. He plays that Atari, it's forcing, okay. But now what? If white would just not play here, but play Atari, save these stones. Black can squeeze here if he wants. You don't even have to, but it's going to be really easy for this whole huge black group to win the Liberty race with this little white group. So white tries to prepare. He tries to take this forcing move, get a little bit more shape, get a little bit of forcing moves, get a little bit more chance to win the Liberty race. And black says, nope, your threat wasn't real. Exactly correct by black. And white pushes here, and black hanes, and white realizes that he cannot try to break through and make some very, very straightforward Liberty race against this kind of black group. That black group is so strong it can easily live. So he cuts. White cuts and Ataris and plays here, trying to make some co-complications. Black connects, avoiding the co-complications. And it seems like this white group on the bottom side should be dead. It just doesn't have very many resources. All it can do is it can try to expand itself towards the bottom side and Liberty race that group of blacks on the right. Atari, black connects, Atari, black extends. If black would have connected like that, if black would have captured like this, that would be fine, but white would play this one, and then this is still kind of an I and co, so it wouldn't be easy for black to continue to kill. You'd have to do some crazy stuff like this. So he thought, if I just go in like this, make sure white has no potential eyes here at all, then, well, white can capture, but I can still throw in. I'm still very solid in the center there. I should easily win the capture race. White plays here, black plays this one. This was black's first mistake, capturing this. If he would have captured here instead, it blocks white from using a lot of the weaknesses in the bottom left, and there's not enough room to live on the bottom side for black to really be scared of anything. So this would have shortened white's liberties, shortened white's chances to use Aji if he had done that instead of played here. But this is what happened in the game, and then white played this Atari. There is no chance that black expected this move. I guarantee he had no idea this is coming, and it must have been a nasty, nasty shock. Black captured, and white connected, and black played on this side, and white captured the two stones. It's disaster. Black was supposed to capture this group at no cost, and he could have just saved everything. But suddenly, after this one, he's just letting white in and breaking the side. Why? Why didn't black play here? He probably could have. He probably still could have played here. But if white would play this one, it's now forcing to try to push through things here in the center. And then this move looks pretty forcing too, because if white starts playing a ko to disconnect these center stones, he can try to capture those center stones as his method of saving the bottom side group. So black should connect, and then here, white is alive. So black answered like this. White played here. Black made sure to cut off that bottom side group. And white captured and broke into the side. It's disaster. This is not the way that this was supposed to go for black. The good news is he's still fine. He can still play the game. He's still okay because he has captured this whole bottom side area. Even if he lost a bunch of stuff in the left side while he was at it, it's fine. White captured here as the best endgame way to try to continue, because now this black, it couldn't hane there, or else white would hane and fight a ko to kill, so it just had to back off like so. And white has gotten strong enough to try to save these 3 stones. That was a really, really big move, and also keeping pressure on the left side. The game is going to be decided by what happens on the left and in the center, and in all of these final little fights, they're mostly decided right now. It seems like everything should save, but who's going to be more efficient will determine who can win in the endgame. Black starts with this move. So this locally makes sure black is alive. That group can live. White plays here. He says, hey, are you really sure that group is just going to live locally? Black says yes. And then white captures. Now that sequence may seem like nothing, but in fact it was very bad for black. Because black hadn't used white's own weaknesses at the time. If he would have started with this move, I think that he was scared that, oh, white is going to play here, and then that reduces the liberty from this right side black group, so that's going to make the capture race on the bottom harder, but that capture race is already, to be honest, easily winnable for black. So it would have been much, much better to start from here, and then you can even play some moves like so and try to aim at reducing the left as you save naturally without having to save in that painful method on the side. This would have been more efficient for territory to gain a chance to come in and even potentially counterattack this white left side group if you can use those stones' weaknesses still to any extent. Instead, like this. Even that other method that I showed, the main part that I forgot to mention, if you play like this white group is not alive yet. So it also needs to take care of itself, and this move will be white sente. So white can play like that, white can play like this, black can play here. It's not actually that easy, so if black blocks here, then white can live, but black can consider not blocking. And then we're gonna get this variation and here, and white can only just barely save it. Anyway, that's just one variation. There's many other variations where white is going to barely manage to save this group on the right side. It was really, really, really important to peep here and take away that potential eye space from white, to take away that potential room from white, and to make it more like black's. That was the vital point of this game. Zhu Jingyu didn't take. So he continues, he tries to capture this group on the bottom. He plays that one Atari exchange first, which doesn't affect the liberty situation at all, but just the territory situation, because as he saves, he's actually like reduced weight a little bit with that naturally, so it was a pretty decent exchange. But eventually he has to just connect here. To be honest, it wasn't exactly perfectly played from black. This Atari is just, I'm directly taking your liberties. It was a little too eager, a little too fast. If black would have been more patient, let's say like this, he wouldn't have had to suffer all of those cuts, so he would have had a lot more liberties in this area. And even he could also have played like this. And here, if white wants to connect, then this Atari is quite painful for white to allow, because black is going to naturally be making an eye with the remaining ko and would have one more liberty. And if white connects, obviously he loses the capture race. So this was not the correct way to immediately do that. It let black get squeezed, although it seemed like it was the most direct thing. It was not actually the best control of the fight. And white did not keep playing that fight once it got to here, because he knows that he's losing that co-fight, so the more that you resolve a losing co-fight, the more difficult it becomes to turn it around in your favor. It's better to let it linger, let black do anything there that he wants, let them mess it up if they want. It's pretty easy to play bad moves in that ko, as we just saw. And if you eventually find a time in the game where you have a lot of ko threats, then you can start to trigger it and really feel like you're making things hard on your opponent. So Huang She is very patient here. Doesn't do anything straight away. Just exchanges these moves a few times, these big endgame moves. All this time, if black would continue to play in the center, this white actually could get in some serious trouble. But Zhu Jingyu never plays like that. He just lets Huang She play the push, the block here, trying to take some endgame, and he immediately captures this ko. And yeah, we can see a few more moves. I don't understand. I'm a little suspicious of the game record, because this move makes no sense. I don't think a player of Zhu Jingyu's caliber could play here. I mean, he's not as good as Huang She, but he's still a very good player. This move actually doesn't mean anything to me. I feel like the game recorder, whoever it was, they just sort of realized that stone got there at some point, and they didn't really remember the full game. But this is where the game ends, and it's a pretty interesting timing to end the game, because this connect, according to my AI, is the first moment in the game where white is actually leading. After black connects here, my AI in ancient Chinese rule says white should lead by 4. And the result of this game is that white won by 4. I doubt they played a perfect endgame from here, because I doubt this position was even reached. I believe that the position up to like here, this was probably correct. at some point here, things probably started going a little awry in the game record. It's even possible that this 241 move, which has been very important for a long time about this whole white group on the top side, it's possible that this was missed, that this one happened way earlier. It would make sense, to be honest. At the end of the day, we see that black connects here, and white just has more points. The reason why white has more points, when white played here, white actually expects to get more in the center from that. White also expects to get squeezes on this black. So white managed to get the best endgame here, the best endgame here. Basically, in that moment before, when we were entering the endgame, and I was saying, hey, it's the way that all of these little situations resolve is going to decide the winner. Since then, the position that we have now, it's resolved where black saving here gained nothing. It's the weakest way to save. Black saving here, especially with this connect, gained nothing. Is the weakest way to save. You even got squeezed, right? And the white save in the center gained a lot. There's a lot of extra potential territory in the center. So you can see how Huang Shi, just by sort of controlling things, by asking Zhu Jingyu tough questions, by giving that squeeze in the center, with all these precise ways of playing the game just naturally turns in your favor. I don't know how to describe it. If I could play like this in the late game, I would happily take Huang Shi's skill. I don't know exactly what happened, to be honest. But at the end, Huang Shi won. It's crazy. This game, Zhu Jingyu actually played well. And he still lost, even though he had 3 stuns. This game is the reason why it's my favorite game. It's probably the most impressive handicap win in Go history. This is a handicap game against someone who's been playing against all your tricks for the last 7 games in a row, learning your tricks, learning how to beat them, beating them consistently, and he plays well. He doesn't make any like very big, serious blunders. He just makes some poor strategic choices on the left, right? And that strategic choice is just compounded, and he still played very, very well later. I mean, he made a poor strategic choice there, but he only just barely missed out on the chance to kill Huang Shi here. And after that, actually, Huang Shi lost quite a bit with this, and he, Zhu Jingyu set up this great, really great attack with this Atari and diagonal down. I could easily see top professionals playing exactly this sequence, and Huang Shi had nothing to do here. It seemed like it was over. It should have been over. And then this Atari. Somehow the tricks, they keep coming. And even after that trick, the game is nowhere near over. The game is still cleanly in Zhu Jingyu's favor, and somehow, naturally, nothing special happened. Just Huang Shi could control every area of the board, and Zhu Jingyu lost. A fantastic game. Really a fantastic, fantastic handicap game. Even in the beginning, remember all the way back? All the way back over here? Huang Shi played this, I mean, this pincer was humanly very sensible. And Zhu Jingyu punished perfectly that attached crosscut save. He's playing in the style of Huang Shi. This Hane is perfect. Everything was perfect from Zhu Jingyu in the center here in the beginning. Just this one mistake in starting the fight properly. I mean, what a great game. What a great game. The highlight of the series. But stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe, to like the video if you enjoyed. But make sure to catch Blood and Tears Game 9 coming soon, where we start discussing why these are the games of Blood and Tears. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.